What's going on, guys? This is the True Red Politician, or just the Red Politician, and today's video we're going to be discussing the overall Texas primary for the Democrats and Republicans, but mostly for the Democrats, and honestly kind of how a disaster it was for them because they picked a not very moderate guy. And again, this guy is a paper tiger. The Democrats will say this guy is very electable. And the next, West Joe Manchin, he could flip a deep red state, and this guy is strong or whatever, and he's a true Christian. And we're gonna go over how this guy isn't. He's a clown who's not nearly as strong as they make him out to be. And again, we're gonna be kind of analyzing, kind of seeing what happened in the primary and why Jasmine kind of lost. And honestly, she the thing with Jasmine Crockett is she did better than I thought she would, but also she kind of underperformed in some areas. And honestly, if she didn't underperform in some areas, I think you can make the case that she could have won. But again, and just looking at the map, I think we'll start with South Texas, or not South, but Eastern Texas. And the reason why it's purple is like you have a lot of rural black voters here, and this is why the state is pretty purple here. And also, East Texas is kind of swampy. It's kind of like the deep South. It's kind of like Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, South Carolina, some places. Like it's why Texas here is kind of swampy and is kind of ancestrally Democrat. And you have a very high rural black population, but also Dallas and Houston has pretty high black populations. And she kind of underperformed here in Dallas and Houston. And the thing that got me the most is in her concession speech, basically admitting that she lost to Tallarico. She said like, "Oh, Republicans rigged it, and it's Republicans, and like they're evil and like racist or what." It's like ridiculous because you can't say that when you underperform your own districts. And again, like they use lawsuits to keep the polls, like the voting open in Dallas. So for several more hours, like you can't even tout that. Like it's just no excuses. And even then, the turnout was lower for Jasmine in some of these places. She got very, like, I would say dictator margins with black voters. It's like 90-10, and in the exit polling, like very solid. And we're gonna get into a second how that might affect Tallarico, and it's not in a very good way. But yeah, like you can't say more racism when you're underperforming your own district. Like it's just ridiculous. Like Fort Worth, like she won it, but it just wasn't enough. But anyways, we're gonna look at Tallarico and just like he kind of got a dictator margin in Austin. Like I said, like he would do very good in Austin. The rules too. I mean, there's some dead cat bounces in like the rural regions for sure, for Jasmine. But overall, Tallarico did very good with like very like boomer rural whites, I would say. Um, yeah, pretty Hispanic heavy county here. He did very good there too. The Rio Grande Valley he did decently well. Like I guess like with the Hispanics, like liberal Hispanics, I guess, and I guess some Tejana voters who still vote Democrat, but that's slowly changing as you've seen in 2024 election map. But again, he ran it up in Austin. He got like dictator margins. I mean, he did very well with like white suburbanite liberals. They're like upper middle class. He did very well in terms of that, but still he kind of underperformed in like some metro areas. But I guess lucky for him, he did well enough. But the next, and again, this is Texas in 2024. Trump won it by 14 points. I mean, he did very, very well. But it's just to show you how just unlikely it is that Tallarico is just going to win the state. And we'll get to that here in a second. But we're going to talk about the primary for Texas for the Republicans, at least in terms of the Senate, because the House was pretty good because we got rid of Dave Crenshaw, this like neocon Bush style clown who virtue signals to the left but also takes pop shots towards Donald Trump. He like advocates kind of for like the old style of running things in the GOP, and it's just a disaster. Like the guy's just he's just a clown, man. He really is. And again, he's just everything wrong with the GOP. And thankfully he's gone after 10 years. It took it long enough, but he's finally gone. And you have Tony Gonzalez, which a guy was, again, this horrific scandal. I won't go into it in depth here, but he needed to lose. The guy, again, was anti-gun, very soft on immigration. Again, he's like a rhino, similar to John Cornyn, who will behave under a Trump or Republican president, but when a Democrat's in office, they cave. They're willing to vote in line with them more times than they should. But I think that's out. That's done. We got rid of a few rhinos in the House that were not very good. Very good. But we're gonna go into John Cornyn. And John Cornyn, he looked like he did decent, but I think just the conservative boomers who live in real life, who are not really in tune to politics or really in tune online, they really don't. They just vote in line for Cornyn because it's just Cornyn. Like, oh, he's there. They really don't understand how much of a rhino this guy is. And again, like, the thing is though too is Cornyn spent a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. I think I seen a memo that he spent like over $100 per vote per vote, and Paxton only spent like $10 per vote. And as you can see, I'm just looking at that margin: 30,000 votes ahead. Cornyn 30,000 votes ahead, literally up by a percentage point, even spending a lot of money. And Cornyn's very established. He's very established in Texas. The establishment's behind him. He has a lot of money, but Paxton has a lot of money too. And even I took the primary for granted. I thought he was going to beat him. He wouldn't go to a runoff, but unfortunately, the polls kind of underestimated Cornyn, and Paxton kind of took it for granted. He really didn't spend much money. He won, unfortunately, or not won, but he's going to go in the runoff. He didn't beat Cornyn in round one. But here's the thing. I don't think it's over. I think if Donald Trump stays out of the primary, he doesn't endorse anybody, I think Cornyn's going to lose because Paxton now is going to take this seriously. He's going to spend a lot of money. I think most of these Wesley Hunt voters are probably going to go to Paxton. I doubt they go to Cornyn, even though like Paxton's kind of resist, I wouldn't say resist vote, but like they might not like either candidate, but they're willing to come home to Ken Paxton even if they are questioning him because he has scandals or corruption scandals. We get that, but a lot of them are probably going to back Paxton over the rhino Cornyn. If Donald Trump endorses John Cornyn, then I think Paxton's probably going to lose, even though he could still make it somewhat close. Now, if Trump endorses Paxton, I think it's over. I mean, because one, Paxton has money. Two, he's going to take this really seriously now. He's not going to take it for granted. And three, again, I don't care how much money you have. If Paxton has a decent amount of money, which he does, and Trump endorses Paxton, even after John Cornyn spent a lot of money, and he does have a lot of money still, and he has a large war chest, if this is your margin after spending that much money while Paxton was barely campaigning, he took it for granted, I'm sorry, but it's over. Like, you're screwed. So, again, we're going to get into I guess overall Cornyn's record and how much he kind of sucks. So this guy voted for gun restriction laws back in, like, I believe May of 22, like in Texas, like red flag laws. Like, of all states, you vote that in Texas, like, you're a clown. Like, I'm sorry, and like that was just very unpopular. Thankfully, it failed. It was just very unpopular, and rightfully so. This guy flirted with the idea of voting to impeach Donald Trump back in 21. He said, like, oh, look at the evidence. Oh, I might vote impeach it. Back in like 21 with, I believe, like with CNN, I believe. Back in 2022 and 2023, he was voicing support of Donald Trump to drop out of the primary. That Republican Party's done with Trump and MAGA. We need to move on to principle neoconservatism Bush, essentially the old guard or whatever. This guy's soft pro-amnesty. He's willing to do pro-amnesty. He was voicing discontent for immigration back in 2016, 2017. He said Donald Trump's border wall is stupid and not very effective, which again is ridiculous because one, that wasn't true. Trump's border wall that he did have built up was very effective. Border Patrol overwhelmingly supported. Two, you're on a border state with you're Texas. You're on a border state with Mexico and overall Central and South America. Like, that's very, very stupid and just ridiculous. I mean, really? And the guy, like, again, the guy is kind of pro-immigration, very pro-soft amnesty. Like, you need a better senator. And again, Paxton is that. Again, and also, he voiced support, and there's old videos coming back in 2021, 2022 coming out about the guy, voicing support for, I forgot the attorney general under Jill Biden, but I think Mark Garland or whatever his name was, very corrupt, did the FBI raid, basically drafted a memo for like the FBI or warrant for a raid under Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago. Got these BS charges against him, like very corrupt and very partisan. He's out there praising him, saying, "Oh, he's well qualified" and things like that. And other prosecutors and I think even possible judges under the Biden administration, like, this guy's a goofball. He does understand it, and he needs to go. Again, he's a rhino that if you twist his arm and that, like Donald Trump has been doing, he's a good rhino. He can behave, but under a Democrat president, he's not very good. He'll vote in line with Donald Trump more times than he should. So he needs to go, and he just isn't very solid. So again, that's it for Cornyn and overall the Senate. I hope if it goes, it's going to a runoff. I hope Donald Trump does the right thing. He endorses Ken Paxton. And again, we're just going to end off the video with some tweets from James Tallarico back in the day. He said a few years ago, and this tweet basically summarizes. He says like, "Oh, my white skin gives me immunity from the virus, and oh, my whiteness is like inherently evil or something." I think there was another tweet similar to this that was like this. I said like, "Oh, well, my whiteness is an evil, and it's like a virus to America." I think he had a similar tweet like this. I can't recall where I seen that, but it wasn't like this. But and again, this guy is so far left that, like, trust me, he said it. Okay, like, but it's like very garbage. And again, in Texas of all states, like, that doesn't run very well. And there's another tweet saying that, the overturning of Roe v. Wade and the ruthless, relentless attacks against trans kids, migrant families, and working Texans. It's like, dude, number one, like, trans kids, really? Again, that's like an 80-20 issue. Even like in some liberal areas in the country, that's not very well received, trans kids. Number two, like, Roe v. Wade, like, Texas voted on their stances on abortion. If you don't like it, oh well. I mean, to be honest, and I think a lot of that was because, like, they don't want the California liberals moving into Texas. So that's probably why they went pretty harsh on abortion, at least the voters, even if they're more sympathetic to the pro-life argument. But anyways, like, migrant families, dude, they should not be here. They're a net drain on the economy, and overall, it suppresses wages of working Texans. So it's kind of like, it kind of goes against each other here. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But yeah, just this guy's just a LARPer. Demanding, mandating DEI in schools. Like, dude, like, are you serious? Like, oh, this guy's a goofball. This guy's a joke. Like, I just don't see him doing so well. And again, this is a screenshot, but this video, there's multiple videos of him saying that Jesus is non-binary. There's 6 different genders, which is ridiculous, especially in Texas. On the House committee floor, saying very far left ideology, using Christianity as like a veil to push very far left ideology. There's a video of him saying that. I believe this is him at campaigning in his primary, by the way, saying that our southern border should be an open doormat, like an open porch, saying welcome. Like, after the debacle under the Biden administration, you would think twice about saying that, but of course he doesn't. And this is him just saying, "Oh, Anthony Fauci, all so cool." Yeah, like, this guy's just a joke. And again, like, this is a Trump plus 14 state. I doubt it's going to shift 15 points to the left to narrowly elect this guy, even against Ken Paxton. And again, I think black turnout is going to be down 10 to 20%, and across the board, 10 to 20% minimum. It could upwards to be 30% because James Tallarico is not appealing to your average black voter. The guy is very, like, sure, he's a Democrat, but he's very far left, very smarmy, is straight Pete Buttigieg, insufferable, just very preachy, talking down. It's just not going to work so well. And I think a lot of younger black voters, they really want Jasmine Crockett, and they got a smarmy, annoying douchebag white guy, not going to play so well. I think just, again, Dallas, Houston, I think a lot of black voters will come home to James Tallarico, but it's definitely not going to be enough for him to win the general election. And again, I think he's a big LARPer. I think he's very overrated. He's nowhere near strong. And again, like, this guy's politics is like Portland, Oregon, like, very far left, very white. Like, that's why he did so well in, like, white Austin, like, the suburbs and stuff. Like, again, he'll run it up in, like, Austin in the general election, but I think Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, decently high black populations. I would definitely keep an eye out on these 3 counties in particular, because it might be lower than usual, and I think most of it's going to be because of the black vote. So anyways, guys, this is going to be the end of my first video. Pretty fun, actually. So yeah, again, this is going to be the end of my video. This is the True Red Politician signing out. Later.